that technique. But it became very, very popular. But there are many aspects about what this tool allows any cook or chef to achieve. But it was always the domain of the professional chef. And so there is a company and a woman who had a vision, and she took it to the sharks, and the rest, as they say, is history. It's really an extraordinary privilege to be welcoming my next guest to the show. I've been very privileged to be doing talk radio programs about food and drink for 20 years. And in that time, I have seen many things come and go. One time I had the chance to ask Julia Child, of these newfangled things, how do you know which things are going to be the things that are lasting, the things that become essential, the things that truly become part of the core of your culinary toolbox? And she had some really, really clear ideas about that. And she was able to separate very instantly fad from and fashion from the future of what would be essential. And we're going to explore that today with my guest from her company headquarters. We are thrilled to welcome Lisa Fetterman. Welcome back to the Food and Wine Radio Network. How are you?
Hello, I'm doing so well. Thank you for having me.
I am really impressed, and I'm really proud of all your success, and your story is an amazing one. But more than anything else, I have to thank you because you are somebody in our industry who leads by an extraordinary example. We need more people like you to take the lead, so to speak, and show us what our food future is going to look like. It's not easy, and you bring an enormous, passionate, robust joy to it. You've brought your curiosity, you've brought your rigor to it, and your background and successes that you've had in your career, all to this moment in time. Your hope is to help us all eat better, it seems. And I'm going to give you the floor and ask you the question, what was the dream that got you started on this path?
Well, the dream that got me started when I first came to the States, I was really kind of not with it, totally not hip. I was, the 7-year-old kid that tucked my T-shirt into my shorts. And I followed like Chinese protocol. I immigrated from China. I thought to be liked, I had to sit in front of the classroom, answer questions correctly, follow decorum, and that was not the case at all. Like, to be cool is completely different in the States culturally, and as a result, I didn't have any friends. A really nice girl came over to my house eventually, and I fed her 1,000-year-old eggs. She didn't speak for the rest of the night, and I was like, uh-oh, this is bad. So I go to school the next day, totally like depressed, dejected. And all the kids ran outside and they're like, Lisa, can we go to your house and eat the weird food? And from that moment, the dream was alive. The feeling was internalized that truly food connects people, and I can connect people through food. Of course, I did not articulate it like that when I was 7, but I was like, hey, food is really my language, and I love to feed people. My dream is to just have people have that moment where they eat something amazing and the world turns from black and white to color, like in that movie Pleasantville or something. They're just like, oh, wow, like all of us who is listening to the radio right now, we've all had that moment where we ate that special thing. We're like, oh, I didn't know pasta bolognese was supposed to taste like this. Or like, oh, I didn't know Chinese food and Sichuan food was different. I didn't know that there was more to Korean food than barbecue, So, like, all I'm trying to do is give everybody on earth that moment where they realize that food could be so much more for you.
I love the idea that you're describing that moment in a movie, and I'm so much older than you, that it's that moment in The Wizard of Oz when she arrives in Oz from black and white Kansas, that the world becomes Technicolor. But in fact, that moment is something really important, and it's something that I believe is getting a little bit lost in our digital era. You're an extraordinary entrepreneur in a very technical time, all of which plays into the fact that at the core of who you are and what you're trying to achieve is this essence of conviviality and hospitality. And one of the things that I hear you say is a description of that moment when, in the realm of fine arts, whether it's film, music, literature, painting, or food, which I totally consider part of the capital F fine arts, when the artist and the viewer or the diner or the listener experiences that moment when the transfer of the gift that they've brought to life occurs, there's a human reaction that one can't contain. You can't stifle it. It's when a comedian tells a joke and you can't help but laugh. It's when something happens in a movie and you can't help but shed a tear. And it's that moment when a chef or a cook or a mom or a grandma puts a bite of food on your plate and then you in your mouth and you make a sound or you have an experience or you get a tear in your eye. That's a really special moment. How do you explain that to people in the broader context of life and business? And how did you explain that moment to the Sharks? And let's go down to where you started this company and you started making this dream come true.
Sure. I'll let everybody know how we got started. I mean, we invented the home sous vide immersion circulator. That sounds like a ridiculous thing to proclaim, but back in like 2011, when we did it, nobody even knew what sous vide is. Right now, everybody who's listening to this is incredibly well heeled and in the know. They know what sous vide is, but back then, like what we had available was really expensive polysciences or machines that were $1,000 and up and meant really for commercial use. We got them down to like $299 back in 2012 with a Kickstarter. So that's how we started. Like, I tried to raise money for this when we first began, and all the investors I talked to were like, "Well, little girl, you're 22, and you have never had a hardware company. Your background is cool, like you worked at Babo and Jean Georges and Say Sun, but I don't think you know anything about how to run a business." And the thing is, like, they were right. I didn't know anything about how to run a business, but I knew that I would learn. I knew that in order to make my company a success, I would do whatever it took. Mm-hmm. And that's what happened. Like, we got our start actually on Kickstarter. Through 2 rounds, we raised $1.3 million for our company. What we did on Shark Tank was pretty great, but it didn't make or break the company.
Really? See, people think that experience is the kind of experience that would make or break a company. People leave there dejected if they don't get a deal, thinking that these certain business experts would know for sure if there was merit here, and if they get rejected, how many go on to quit or how many go on to succeed without them. But they give the impression that it's critical.
Well, it's TV, and Ring got rejected from Shark Tank, and they exited for $1 billion.
Yeah.
Like, there's Shark Tank is just a TV show, and it's great for getting the word out there about your consumer brand, but it's not that one moment, that 1 hour that you spent in front of the Sharks does not make or break your company in the least bit. It's the long run. Your company, I'm still waiting for my overnight success, and it's been 7 years.
Somebody's going to tell you that it took a 10-year overnight success story. Let's talk a little bit about Nomiku, which is the name of your company. And the home process of sous vide requires us to talk about what is sous vide. How do you define sous vide for people?
Sous vide means under vacuum in French, but really I think it's a misnomer. It's all about precise temperature cooking. And you say that, we're in a world where everything is tech this and tech that. We're increasingly more technical. Well, let me introduce you to one of the biggest technical revolutions in the world when it came to cooking, which was fire. Fire. And that was millennia ago. Like, fire was a long, long time ago. And that was the biggest technological innovation we had. And what sous vide is essentially is controlling fire. Heat is the secret ingredient inside of the kitchen. And when you have a really fancy copper pot or a really nice stove, it's all about that even heating. Every TV show, every chef will tell you that. And now with sous vide, you can control heat to 0.1 degrees Celsius. That's completely revolutionary for your ingredients.
And that precision goes along with the techniques that come along with a new tool of time. And it's that function of time and temperature that has the most transformative effect on ingredients to make them go from being raw ingredients to being incredible meals. But that's not where you stop. It's only where you start. Let's go a little bit further to talk about what the company is doing today. You offer delicious, healthy meals for busy people. And that just sounds like the perfect solution for any myriad number of issues. And when we start saying things like sous vide was fancy in fancy restaurants, I can hear home cooks going, you lost me at fancy. What happened when you started talking to people and showing them that this quote-unquote fancy technique that was the domain of Michelin star restaurants was in fact something that really lent itself to empowering home cooks to do more and to be better cooks?
I mean, people loved it, but let me tell you, it's hard to adopt to a new way of cooking. So my entire life goal is to feed everybody on planet Earth, right? I just want to share a meal with everyone. I really do. And as much and as hard as I try, that really, honest to God, does not scale. So what I created when we created Non-Meat Food, I thought, okay, how easy is this? I, by proxy, are basically inside of people's homes, and all they have to do is put food inside of a bag and drop it in the water. That's so simple. That's so simple that everybody can do it. And the truth is, Jennifer, actually, it's very hard to put food inside of a bag because it's not just that action. You have to plan, you have to shop, you have to have a recipe that you're comfortable with, and you have to get used to this new way of cooking. That's really a tall order for people who are already so time-strapped and stressed out. So I was like, hey, you know what? I have my background, this is my domain expertise, my background in culinary arts. I can literally just give you the food already sous vide and then flash frozen. And all you have to do is wave it in front of the machine and drop it in for those nights that you are just way too busy. And then all the other times the machine is out, it's on your counter. I hope it inspires you to cook for yourself with it.
Talk a little bit about the meals, because it's one of the fascinating extensions of the project that you gave birth to with this. And it's really important for people to know that it's not just your hope that you can feed people. You want people to not only eat well, you want people to dine together. And there's something about this that recognizes that it's an equation of a limited number of minutes. And if you're not spending time with your family, you're missing out. And one of the things that seems like your hope is to connect people to spend more family time together, not less. It's one thing to say, I'm going to be a gourmet cook and I'm going to make fabulous fancy meals for my family, but it's going to require me to, after a day of work, be away from them even further and more. You've really thought this through and dreamed about how people want to not only live together, but be together and dine together and be united through food. You've really done a marvelous job at creating means for people to do that. Would you talk about that part of this for us?
Oh, absolutely. And also it is a little bit selfish, as much as I love that this scales now. But when I first began, I did it when I have two children. One is 5 years old and one is 22 months old. And I was pregnant with my 5-year-old. I was really panicked. I'm a really young mom. I was 25 when I got pregnant with my first kid, and I was running a company. I didn't know how I was going to make ends meet, especially because, this is it sounds a little sexist, but also by utilitarian ways. My family just relied on me to cook because I have the chef background. So they were always like, oh, you cook. We're really bad at cooking. I'm like, ha, okay, whatever. But then it got really real when I was about to have the kid. So I was like, okay, I'll sous vide all this food and then flash freeze it for my family, so that when I'm recovering from giving birth, everything will be okay. And it really helped. It saved us. And as my family grew, my mother-in-law came to live with me, and then I had my second kid, and suddenly we were a family of 5, and everybody had different dietary restrictions. My mother-in-law, Bubby, Deb, amazing. She is dairy-free, sometimes gluten-free. My husband is vegetarian. He was not vegetarian when we got married, but everything's cool. My 5-year-old has PKU, which is a rare genetic disorder. So we have to be very restrictive with his diet. And then I have my 22-month-old who's a baby, and you can't exactly just send a baby home without send a baby to bed without dinner.
Yeah.
You tell them, hey, do you want mac and cheese? And you make it for them, and they're like, no, and you have to cook something over again. Like, I wound up basically making like 5 different meals every night for my family, and it was exhausting. I love to cook. I'm probably part of the like top 0.00001% of people on earth who love to cook so much. But I'll tell you, I hate to cook like that. Like, that is not fun, especially when you come home at 7 and there's like
Right.
goldfish crackers on the floor. The kids are like hangry. The family members are looking at you like what's up? And then you have to make something in like 20 minutes. It's nearly impossible. So like, and it's also like a second job to
Right.
handle all of that. So
So-
I was like, hey, I have this technology. Let me just make it so that everybody can tap exactly what they need to eat for their body, and then drop it in, and then everybody can eat at the exact same time. So how the machine works is you take our food.
You know what we're going to do, Lisa? Hold on one second.
go
We're
ahead.
going to take a very quick break. And when we come back, we are
Okay.
going to learn how Nomiku works. We're going to learn how sous vide works at home. We're going to learn how there is a little tiny communication device that tells this little machine exactly what to do. Don't I wish I had this for every part of my life? And don't I wish that I could have my Nana make her famous fried rice, put it in a bag, freeze it, send it to me like an edible postcard, and drop it in my sous vide machine, cook it, and then have a bite of her love. To me, this is the untapped magic of the Nomiku and sous vide system. Imagine getting edible postcards made with the love that nobody else can put into the food that we eat. To me, that is the future of where this is going to go. We're going to take a very quick break. And when we come back, more Around the Table live from the City of Gastronomy. This is AM 1030 The Voice, trusted local news and talk. We'll be right back. Welcome back, 1:48 p.m. This is Around the Table, live from the City of Gastronomy, breaking bread with the most interesting and influential newsmakers, taste makers, style makers, movers, shakers, foodies, and friends each and every day. We save the seat at the head of our table for you, our guest of honor, and we are on YouTube Live right now at 10:30 The Voice. You can call in if you want, 520-790-2040. But I got to tell you, I'm a little greedy today because I have a guest that I've been waiting to talk to for a long time. Lisa Fetterman is the founder of an extraordinary company called Nomiku, and they are the home sous vide circulation immersion cooking system company that is transforming the future of food. It is a real privilege to have her on with us today. Welcome back, Lisa.
Thank you for having me, Jennifer.
Oh my God, that sounds so much better. Thank you so much for that. Tell us how sous vide works and how your particular kind of sous vide works. How does Nomiku work?
Oh, of course. So right now we have sous vide meals that are expertly sous vide, and then they are flash frozen, and you wave it in front of the machine. Each meal comes with an RFID tag, and the machine reads it. You can tap as many meals to the machine as you want for your household and drop it in, and in 30 minutes you get a gourmet meal, regardless of dietary restriction. And because sous vide is all about temperature control, we hold the heat at a pasteurization temperature for 4 hours so that your meals are not overcooked but ready for you, even if you've forgotten about them.
And so it's like the ultimate warming drawer.
It really is. It really is. And it pasteurizes as it warms.
One of the things that's really incredible about what you're doing is you're actually making cooked, prepared meals that are frozen. So they're like the ultimate version of a gourmet meal because you've teamed up with celebrated chefs and noted culinarians, yourself included. Talk a little bit about this collaboration and partnership with how many of the chefs that you partner with just were super responsive to the quest when you went to them and said, how would you like to cook for lots of people who really need something like what you make? What was their response?
Oh my gosh, every chef has said yes. Every chef who I've ever approached, whether it's Murad or Mr. Jews, or in the future, like we have a few star chefs coming up, but like everybody from like whether they have 3 Michelin stars or they just opened their restaurant, like Prairie or Nightbird, they've all like totally vibed with it. They get it. It's like, hey, here is a controlled way where basically people can eat my food at home with no user error. Essentially, like I will cook this food. We can send it anywhere in the country, and everybody will have the food exactly as I imagined it because they're not putting it in their own pan or in the microwave where, heat could really destroy the essence of the dish. And instead, it's going to a sous vide and getting served gently. And plus, like folks at home don't even need to set the time or temperature. They just tap it to the machine. So there's no way anybody can mess up their meal. So like chefs in the past have partnered with like meal kits where people chop and cook and make their own meals, and they haven't been really satisfied with the result because there's just too much like room for error. With ours, it's like straight up, we're doing what we love to do, which is feed people, and we can do it at scale.
One of the things that's really cool is probably about 15 years ago, maybe even longer, there was a company that Max Polliner started where he teamed up with all the best chefs in the world, the James Beard Award winners, and created these meal kits, this first round of meal kits. And they were wonderful. I mean, they were expensive, and they were really bespoke, but you still had to cook them. And at the end of the day, it was one step past the wonderful cookbooks that can guide you, but you end up, it's like selling sheet music. It's only going to sound as good as the person actually playing the song on the piano. And if your hope is that it's going to sound like it does on the platinum record or in the concert hall, how do we close the gap? And sometimes it's wonderful to have someone's hand on the piano. That's a little bit different. And we all have different musicians whose music we love and the playing we love. But then there are times when we would really like something to be what we know that it could possibly be, and that expectation of the expertise was lacking. You found a way to deliver this and at the same time satisfy these chefs and their craving, which is your craving, which is my craving, is I want to feed you, and I want to feed you something that I know will delight you so that when you put that first bite in your mouth, you're going to be delighted. You're going to be giddy. You're going to make a sound, and you're going to say, and your eyes are going to do something, and your face is going to do something. How many times do you ever get tired of watching that first bite go in someone's mouth and watching what their face and their body and their eyes do?
Oh my gosh, it's like the reason why I live. That's how like I get out of bed every morning. Like I wake up before my alarm because I know like somebody's going to have that moment today. And hopefully, you know, like with gratitude, hopefully we will be the ones that bring it to them. I was watching Queer Eye the other night, and I was thinking like, oh my gosh, there's somebody here where it's their first time eating asparagus. Like there are folks out there who've never had like a proper bolognese sauce before, like the one that we have on our website. I'm like, I can't wait for them to eat it. I'm so excited.
You've got extraordinary things. I think when we all became sort of familiar with sous vide was when chefs began cooking proteins utterly perfectly. And then they began putting more flavor in the bags. And then they began doing all of these things. Will you talk a little bit about that notion and how in your own offerings you have some of those sort of core elements, those New York strips, the salmon, the pasta with the bolognese, things that are just truly irresistible in the best expression, the best example of their kind, and how important it was for you to offer that?
Well, a lot of folks, you know, one thing that happened when I moved in with my mother-in-law is that I would cook seasonal produce like Brussels sprouts, Brussels sprouts is one of the things that we have as sides. And she was like, oh, no Brussels sprouts. I would never eat that. I'm like, are you allergic? Is like, you know, do you not like brassicas in general? And she's like, no. Like when I was little, my mother would boil Brussels sprouts and then put a cold cream sauce on them.
Ooh.
And then I was like, yeah, exactly. I was like, girl, like,
I don't blame you.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, if I had Brussels sprouts served to me like that, I would never eat Brussels sprouts again. But it was the madness was in the method. Brussels sprouts can be so delicious and naturally sweet and have so much depth when you roast them. And I did it for her, and it completely changed her world. She's like, you know, I love Brussels sprouts. I love it when you make them. And I was like, well, that's exactly what we can bring to everything that people might have had a less than stellar relationship with. Like, we have Brussels sprouts on there. Some people don't like fish. They're like, no, I don't eat fish. But I'm like, okay, how was your fish cooked? It just turns out that they were just missing the quality magic ingredient in those dishes, which is heat. So we get the heat properly on our salmon. It's jewel-toned. It's silky. It's also, like, flaky where it needs to be. Like, I just want to show everybody the perfect example of what things could be so that you could have it any time and then do it for yourself.
This program used to be on at a different hour, and during that time, I used a word that is one of my all-time favorite food words. And that word is irresistible. This show used to be called Irresistible Tucson. But the idea is a very simple one, and it was born of an experience I had as a young person working in a Jewish deli back in Newton, Massachusetts, where I'm from. It was probably before you were born. And so it was really simple when the old guy behind the deli counter with the snap front white shirt with the deli stains on it and the T-shirt underneath and the big Morty Seinfeld glasses looked at me one day because he knew I was really interested in food, and he said, "Hey kid, do you like chopped liver?" And I said no. And without missing a beat, he said, "Have you ever had good chopped liver?" And like that was my Proustian moment when I realized that everything I might not like, maybe I just didn't know the best example in the world of. And all of a sudden the world opened up to me because my next favorite food was coming. That's what you do with Nomiku. That's one of the things that you do, because these things are exactly as they are supposed to be prepared. They taste the way that they're supposed to taste. They are, in fact, irresistible in their flavor and preparation. How did you know to do that? Are you a professionally trained chef?
I never went to culinary school, but I did work under Mario Batali, and I worked under Jean-Georges and Cezanne. And thank you for the vote of confidence, Queen. Not only did you compliment me, but you also dropped Proust. I was like, damn, this is a very classy radio hour. It's definitely the most classy radio show I've ever been on. But I don't know anything, and I continue to not understand and know what's ahead. All I know is what my domain expertise is, and if it helps one person, then I can make it scale to everybody. I'm just making sure that it fits, that it's a fit now. If it's a fit to like people that I love, that I care about, then I can make it fit for everybody around me. Because we're so not alone, and we're so more alike than we're more alike than we are different. And that's what
Amen,
food
sister.
shows us. Yes.
Amen, sister.
Praise.
So,
so like
so,
so but that's what I know.
so we've got
I
less.
don't know too much else though.
You know a lot, and we have not got enough time for it. We've got less than a minute left, and if you are going to be in a dorm and you want to cook great food, and if you're going to be on your own or cooking for a family and you want to know how to do this, where is this sold? If I'm not mistaken, we can go to Williams Sonoma still.
You can go to Williams Sonoma and get my machine for $249, or you can go to my website namiku.com and get the machine for $99.
99
when
bucks.
You buy, yeah, when you get like $79 worth of food.
I love that. We're going to thank you so much. This is not the last time hopefully you'll be on with us. I would love you to come and sous vide with us once a month.
Let's do it.
All right. Seasonally, Lisa Fetterman, Nomiku, thank you so much. When you get home today, everybody, please count your blessings, hug your kid, and count your blessings. We'll be back with more right after this.
Welcome to A Fork on the Road. I am your travel guru, Mark DiCarlo. She is James Beard award-winning foodie journalist Jennifer English, and together we are A Fork on the Road, your only source for travel and foodie insights, special deals, and behind-the-scenes wigwam that you're ever going to need. Today's show is all about Las Vegas. Hello, Jennifer.
Viva Las Vegas. And by the way, I've got to tell you, thank you for the Cookie Puss Challenge. I am down to 4.9 seconds.
Get out of here.
Sorry to tell you.
I don't believe it.
I'll send you the video. How are you, Mark DiCarlo?
And you're not speeding up the video. You're not slowing it down. This is all straight up.
No, and you know what it is? It's one of the few places in life where the gravity of Mother Nature actually works well with my face.
Isn't it a fun game?
Yeah. You know what's funny, though? You're such I'm such a mom. The cookie falls on the floor. I'm like, yeah, I just put it back up on my face. And then I say, I don't eat the cookie. Like, I roll it down with the musculature of my face, wiggling my eyebrows till it trickles over to my nose, jiggling my head, shaking my whole body like I had St. Vitus dance, kind of opening my mouth as wide as it will go, hoping that if I jig just the right way, the cookie will roll gently down into my opening maw, and then it falls on the floor, and then I pick it up and I put it on my face again, and then I get it in my mouth, and it wasn't the right amount of time, so I do it again. That dirty cookie. But I'm such a
you know what?
But it's so fun.
Yeah, it's a great party game too. 4.6 seconds. That is a world's record.
Well, I'd like to honestly. I think that this is going to take on a life of its own. But Mark DiCarlo, how are you? We're going to Las Vegas together, and one of my all-time most delicious places is Las Vegas because
it's transformed itself in the last, let's say decade. It used to be you would never go to Vegas in the summer because the food was horrible, it was empty, and it was 2,000 degrees. And now some of the best restaurants in America are in Las Vegas.
Well, let's just talk about the fact that there is one person that I know that we can give some credit to for that, and that's Elizabeth Blau. She is the woman who went to work in partnership with Steve Wynn and Shep Gordon. And not only did she, I don't want to say single-handedly, because all of these things that happen in hospitality happen as a result of a team, but it was Elizabeth Blau and her leadership and vision that actually transformed Las Vegas from a famous buffet town into a gourmet town by bringing in the likes of Le Cirque, Sirio Macchione, Todd English, and Olives. It is, just to be clear, a really distinctive moment in time. It's the before and the after.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you know what? You can still get the buffets. You can still get the 99-cent shrimp cocktail stuff. You could still get Bono's beef from Chicago. But you can also get these really high-end, great restaurant experiences because Vegas finally figured out there's a lot of people with a lot of cash here who are in a really good mood. So you might as well take advantage of that. I discovered a great place called Carbone at the it's either at the Aria or the Cosmopolitan a couple trips ago. It's like an East Coast steakhouse, and they bring you it's like an old-school Italian joint, but really high-end, linen tablecloths, and that's where I go every time I go back to Vegas. That's my big go-to dinner thing.
Do you want to know one of my guilty pleasures about Las Vegas? I'll tell you 3 of my guilty pleasures. The first is I'm a huge fan of Chef Jean Joho and his brasserie style of cooking. But he in his restaurant at the Eiffel Tower, I'm sorry, it's so charming to me to have that little kiss of Paris.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah, they could use it at the real Eiffel Tower. We were at the Eiffel Tower about 3 weeks ago, and they've put up barriers all around it, and it's not quite as romantic and sweet as it used to be. But security trumps that, so maybe it's even better than the real thing right now.
Well, the other 2 things I'll tell you is I love Chef Hubert Keller and his remarkable approach to food and hospitality. I love Chef Rick Moonen and his incredible respect for history and for seafood. I'm a giant fan of Tony Abuganim, and his Libertine Social Bar is one of the best in town. And, kudos to the guys and gals at Herbs and Rye, the bar that was named the best high-volume bar by the spirited awards at Tales of the Cocktail. You can eat well, you can drink well, you can live well. And then going off the strip, you've got to acknowledge that Elizabeth Blau and her husband, Kim Canteenwala, have not only honey salt, but they've also got Andiron Steak, which is one of the great steakhouses of the world because it has got all that edible tradition in a contemporary delivery. Can't beat it.
Yeah, it's really, you know what, I've been going there since college, and Vegas continues to evolve, and today on the show we're going to be talking about all the different facets. Later on in the show, we've got the publisher of Food and Beverage magazine, Michael Politz. He's going to tell us about nightlife and about more restaurants. And Vegas also has a lot of festivals and a lot of events. Typically, they do them during the summer because people don't go to Vegas during the summer. And there's one coming up in September that really caught my eye. It's called the Big Blues Bender, and it's one of the most famous blues festivals in all of the United States. And we have the CEO of the event with us, AJ Gross. Welcome to A Fork on the Road.
Oh, thanks for having me, Mark and Jennifer. I appreciate it.
Oh, my God, what a great voice you have, but you already know that.
That's a blues voice.
That is an old-fashioned blues voice. I love that. You come hang with us anytime.
Beautiful.
So, AJ, tell people. I know this is the seventh year, sixth year for Big Blues Bender.
It's our 6th year. We've actually been sold out the last 3 years, but we're moved to a new location here at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, Las Vegas, and that's allowing us to finally expand and offer the event up to more people. So we're excited about it.
I think still a lot of people. I'm from Chicago. I was raised on the blues. I'm a big fan of roots music and blues music. I think when a lot of people hear the term blues, they still think sad, depressing, acoustic music, and that's not the case, is it?
No, it's not at all. You're absolutely right, Mark. It's the music is vibrant. It's alive. It's such an amazing style of music that look how many styles it gave birth to. I mean, blues had a baby and it was rock and roll. Yeah, all of them, soul, and all of it came out of there. And we're not, if it was just straight folk acoustic blues, I don't think we could figure out how to fill one stage, let alone 5 at the festival. So there's a lot of different styles and a lot of different speeds. And, there's the slow, smoky blues of a Roddy Earl. There's the rockingness of, say, a Government Mule. The soul of Little Steven, Steven Van Zandt, his 15-piece band, the Disciples of Soul. I mean, it's just like, if that's so far removed from a one-guitar acoustic, you're so right, Mark.
Yeah, it's really more rock, with a blues kind of bent to it. Papa Chubby is another great artist that I like. Let's talk about the actual layout because you're taking over the Hard Rock, and I don't understand how you can stage typically the festivals I've been in Vegas are out at the Sam Boyd, or they're someplace else where you're outside, which would probably kill people. So you have how many stages, and they're all inside the Hard Rock?
So we have 5 stages. We have 2 fabulous pool stages. That one's called the Paradise Pool and the Nirvana Pool. And the Nirvana Pool is like an amphitheater. I mean, you're just laying out in a lounger on the sandy beaches watching, these legendary artists. Swimming right. One of them's a swim up stage. You can swim right up to them. But then there's 3 indoor stages. We've created a casino stage for that close, accessible type of thing, and then there's Vinyl, which is a world-class venue at the Hard Rock already for, kind of up and coming and, just a cool, down and dirty, 600 capacity type club environment, but nice, super beautiful laid out place. And then, we have the Cherry at the Hard Rock, which is its joint venue, which can hold over 4,000 people. And, our event is about being intimate. We're not trying to be at the Silver Bowl and 50,000 people out in the heat. Our event's about trying to get up close with the artists and having a unique experience. The artists stay right on site. So you're going to be on an elevator ride with, with Larkin Poe or Devin Allman, So
And you really, I'm looking over the artist list. You've really made an effort to pull people from all over the country. You got East Coast guys like Papa Chubby. You got a lot of New Orleans people, Johnny Sansone, Chubby Carrier, Tab Benoit, who's fantastic. You got Little Steven, also from the East Coast, and the Almond Betts Band from kind of Florida-ish. Who are you in charge yourself of the bookings? Do your fans kind of steer you who they want to see? How does it work?
Yeah, yes to everything in short, but to expand upon it, we do a survey after every festival, and I definitely go through there along with my assistant Jimmy Carpenter, and we talk about. I mean, we're already talking now about who next year. Who did we not get to this year that we need to make sure we get them on the bill?
Delbert.
And you're so right. Delbert, he played about 3 years ago. And, I'm really hoping to see that and maybe a little bit of a curveball next year, too. But the idea of getting these artists from all over the country comes not just because they're great artists, but also because I'm searching all around the country because we have all 50 states come to Vegas. Because, right, people are coming into here. We're a vacation destination place. So we have nearly a dozen countries represented. We have, let alone, 200 plus Canadians, just Canadians coming.
How do Canadians get the blues? What do they have to complain about?
That's funny.
I know
That's
they got
actually
free
very
medical.
funny.
Free medical insurance. Their
But
beer is delicious.
AJ, couldn't you make the argument that Leonard Cohen? I mean, Leonard Cohen. There's a certain element of blues synchronicity to what he does in some things.
Yes, Leonard, if you're listening, please have your agent call me. We would love to see you at the venue.
He's been gone a while. All right, so here's the question, you guys. I love listening to you, but it makes me ask the question, what is the difference between classic blues and contemporary blues? Is there such a thing as modern blues, or is blues by its very definition the timeless blues that we all recognize as soon as we hear the pick of the guitar?
There's nothing inaccurate in everything you said.
Wait, I couldn't hear either of you.
Everything you said is accurate.
Sorry. Go ahead, AJ.
Everything you said was accurate, Jennifer. From the fact that there is modern blues, there's contemporary blues, the tones you're hearing, it's all true, it's all correct, and there's just so many flavors of it, and the cool thing about doing something like this, where you get like 60 artists, is they're all there from the what you're talking about, Doug McLeod. He's going to play that steel guitar, and it's going to move you, and it's solo and it's acoustic. But then right across the hall in another venue is Larkin Poe, two women who are taking the music world by storm, in my opinion, and just resurrecting that beautiful sound and modernizing it and delivering it by two women on stage fronting it. It's really an homage to those artists, and I feel special to be able to be part of it, and I didn't realize how much I've missed this wonderful music style because I got lost in promoting a lot of rock and roll shows. But this music just speaks to me. It does.
We were talking a little bit earlier today about the human experience when an artist's work connects with the audience and you have a human reaction. And it's the kind of reaction like a laugh, Mark, that you're familiar with. You're a comedy guy. You were at Second City. You do something on stage. You can't stifle a laugh that is a legitimate laugh. If you are legitimately funny doing a bit and the audience laughs and the room becomes electrified and the energy of that laugh ripples through the room and the whole room lifts up off the ground, you know what that feels like. When you're listening to blues music and you connect with what the artist is doing and you can't help but feel what you feel, is that the key to the blues, AJ?
Sounds like it to me, Jennifer. I can just sit here and listen to your voice all day long. It's just beautiful and sweet. And you wrap that all around, and I'm just like, yes, yes.
Well, you know what? I think that's the cool. That's what I love about it most is when people are really. It's an authentic, unique experience. I'm going to see Buddy Guy next week at the Hollywood Bowl. I've seen him 15 times. He's never been the same. You know, sometimes he's cranky. Sometimes he's in a great mood. Sometimes he's stoned. You know, it's always different. And it's that, what you were saying, Jennifer, it's that unique connection with the audience where there's an improvisation or guys are playing together. And I think it happens more in roots music and in blues music than it does in pop now, because in pop, everything is programmed and you're singing to backup tracks and stuff like that. That doesn't happen in the roots in the blues world. You're not going to be playing any click tracks, are you, AJ?
No. Plus, most songs don't take 12 different writers to write.
All right.
Like in the pop world.
So we're going to take a very quick break. This is Around the Table, live from the City of Gastronomy. You are here with us live with Mark DiCarlo. This is A Fork on the Road. We are taking you back to the bluesiest, jazziest place we can imagine, which is at the core of a style of music that is as essential a component of who we are as a culture as anything. We'll be back with more right after this.
Welcome back to A Fork on the Road. I'm Mark DiCarlo. She is Jennifer English. Today we're talking about Las Vegas in the summer and a great reason to go. The Big Blues Bender Blues Festival, which is happening at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas from September 5th through the 8th. It's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday all day, and he says until 4 a.m. at night. Blues Festival. We're talking to the Imperial Blues Booftar, AJ Gross.
Do you know what I love? I love that he uses the word bender. That is so awesome. And unless it's a musical term that I don't know anything about, I just have such a smile on my face from the notion that this bluesy lost weekend is happening.
Well, everyone goes to Vegas on a bender. This is a specific blues bender. Now, what time does it start? It goes till 4 o'clock at night? Is that true?
4 or 5 in the morning, yeah. It kicks off Thursday at 5 p.m. and pretty much doesn't give you much time for even sleep.
Wow.
So you have 4 stages going all the time, most of those days, so people can kind of pick and choose what they like?
There's pretty much at least always 3 stages to 5 stages going. We trim down the final one stage at the last gasps of the morning. There's a fine balance, of keeping the energy at the right spot. As the crowd, because the crowd does get wane towards the morning hours, so try to keep them together, keep that energy going.
AJ, risking the affection that I have for
built up.
Listen, I have to say this because I am not somebody who has had a prolific life experience with the blues. And it wasn't until recently as a grown-up that I've been fully able to appreciate the juicy, fulsome, enriched, delicious satisfaction of the blues. So I don't have as deep a history as Mark does with this. Is there a style of blues that gets as raucous as a Tony Robbins seminar where everyone's like jumping up and down?
You're comparing the blues.
Help me, Jesus.
I love it. Go listen to Government Mule or Little Steven.
I knew you'd like that one. Mark, is that the best laugh you've ever had on the show?
I think that's the funniest thing you've ever said in your life, yeah.
Hey, listen, let's tell everybody, in all seriousness.
Let AJ answer that. That's a good question.
I'd probably send her to Albert Castiglia. I think he'd deliver the highs and lows and the sideways Jennifer's looking for.
One of the things.
What about Reverend Billy Wirtz?
She'd probably need a little spirituality come morning.
Yeah,
I do all the time, my friend. Hey, listen, I want to make sure that we tell everybody that not only are the blues alive and well, but they're headed to Las Vegas for an extraordinary event in not too much time from now. How do you plan a trip, AJ, around a music festival like this? You're our friend in the music festival business. What could we do to get the best experience out of a trip to Las Vegas to join you? What are the things we can do looking at your lineup? How do we get our tickets? How do we plan or coordinate a schedule of shows to see? Because honestly, even if I wanted to see everything, do you think I could? Could anybody? What's the best way to get the most out of the Bender?
Wow, that's a great question. And I was thinking of all the answers to it. And the shortest one is to direct people. We have a group page, and there's nearly 7,000 people on there, and they just chatter it up, giving out tips and how-tos and helping the virgins find their way. We kicked the thing off with a virgin party at 420. So we're all there trying to help everybody find. Yeah.
What do you
say? It sounds like
every day, or just on that Thursday?
On that Thursday at 4:20, that's when we do a little surprise for the crowd too. That we bring the energy up, and there's cherries popped, and everybody gets laid. We bring all the virgins get laid. We have those Hawaiian lays.
You think I'm ready?
Around there. Jennifer, I can tell that you're ready. Now, I didn't met you, just talking to you on the phone. You're gonna love it.
My goodness, I digress.
I People you can buy day tickets, but I think from what you're telling us and what I understand, probably the best way to do this is to get the package, stay at the Hard Rock with all the artists, and then you're right there. You don't have to drive home. You're right in the middle of it, right?
Absolutely. I created this thing because I'm a lazy SOB, right? I love music. I love festivals, but I don't like porta potties, and I don't like to travel back and forth. I just want it to be easy. Like if I want to take a nap at 3 p.m. to power up for a later show, so be it. And that's what this is about. It's our tagline: everything, an elevator ride away. And it just makes it so easy, so sweet. Most of the people coming into town usually arrive a day or two early, stay at the hotel, get comfortable, get used to it, maybe catch a show. We do a big charity benefit on Wednesday night.
Talk about that.
It's an awesome thing. The money raised, 100% of it goes to artists, medical expenses, dental expenses, funeral expenses to help artists in need. We've proud to say that we've raised over $100,000 for this cause. 100% of it gets used directly for the support. There's not a penny gets spent in administrative fees for that charity.
That's a big point. Lots of times people will put on an event and then whoever's producing it takes their costs back. But you and your team, you donate all the production costs so that every dollar from the ticket sales goes directly to the artist fund, the Heart Fund, correct?
Correct. And then the Heart Fund actually pays their operating expenses through a separate charity. So every dollar gets to the final recipient that's raised. So it's unheard of, when you got charities out there taking 20% in administrative costs to have a charity having zero operational. So, and that's a great way to start the week and gives everybody a taste of what's happening and then rolls us into, you're right, the package is a great way to go, but over time, because some people have a comp or, they have a timeshare or their cousin Joey lives in Summerlin, downtown, or the Strip, I should say. So we started offering other options. But, yeah, this is about staying on site, getting immersive. It is just that, and they're so welcoming. All that info is, on our website at bigbluesbender.com. And we're just excited to welcome people to Vegas every year and show them an awesome experience and how this town can really is driven by great customer service and an open arms. A really great service industry here.
AJ, I want to close because I think you're going to really understand the nature of what connects the musicians to the source of the music, the inspiration, the creativity. There's something really spiritual about the blues as a genre of music. And as one of the impresarios who helps to keep this experience connecting artists and audiences and allowing that flow of that energy of that beautiful music to occur, could you speak to where blues comes from and the magic that you have seen when you watch musicians take the stage and perform? When you say that the show is different every time, the only way to explain it is that there's something magical happening. Can you talk about the magic of the blues?
Yeah, I'd love to. It is this connection where there's not a great space between the artists, the instruments, and the audience. And they're all in this really small circle, and they're right on top of each other, and the music connects in a way that it can't connect in a big, giant auditorium unless it's powered by amazing and over-the-top lights and sound. This is something that's connected through several hearts meeting in a room and sharing that experience and really appreciating the talent of these guys up there right with them, who are just letting their soul go and really feeling every note, and none of it's processed and none of it's overdubbed and none of it's reworked, and it's all straight, unedited, and beautiful.
I
Wow.
love that explanation. Thank you so much. I love the feeling. And is there any musical style that more powerfully elicits feeling than the blues?
I don't think so.
Well,
I think
polka's
it is
pretty amazing, but you know.
Did you say polka? You're funny. That's funny.
Hey AJ, we would like to come out, and I would love to come there and do some interviews with the artists and people during the event, and maybe do a little.
Want to broadcast
if not-
live? You want to take
I
the
would
show
love
on the
to
road?
Let's do it.
Take the show on the road, guys. Make sure you videotape everything in pictures, or it didn't happen. I want to see road shots. Totally like a la Hunter Thompson.
No
on the
cameras
way to
in Vegas. No cameras in Vegas. That's how it works.
Is that true? Gosh, how we get it done. Hey, AJ, I want to say thank you so much for being here. We would love to come out, and we'd love to come and support this event, and we'd have an awfully fun time doing it together.
We would.
Yeah, absolutely. I after you see Ronnie Earl, Jennifer, I want to see. I want to hear what you have to say, because I'm sure it's going to knock me down.
You got it, brother.
All right. Look forward
Thanks
to
so
it.
much,
Thanks for
AJ.
the time today. Be well.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Oh, see, just even talking about the blues, Jennifer.
Look
Put
how
the smile
excited
on
you
your
get.
face.
Look, no, Mark, look how excited you get.
I know. I'm literally bouncing up and down.
No,
my
you're so
chair.
funny. It's it's like we talk about things and you've got your professionalism and you've got your passion, your professionalism, and then there's this magic box that you keep locked up underneath the velvet pillow on, your bed. And you take this little precious box out and you take this key out and you open it up and inside is the blues. And when that comes out, you are just a different human being. Your passion is indescribable. It's totally discernible. It's right there. And it's like you've lifted yourself up. How is it that you aren't a blues musician, a blues manager, a blues agent, a blues concert promoter? Like how is it that this isn't 24/7 of your life?
Well, I do have a band here in L.A., and I've played on several different I played harmonica on a couple of different records. But to do it full time it's a brutal life. But we go to the Jazz Fest in New Orleans every year. I didn't even know about this festival until recently. I'm gonna go to this thing every year. Let me tell you, the last time I saw Stevie Ray Vaughan live was about 2 months before he was killed in a helicopter crash, and it was an outdoor event here in Los Angeles. And he was playing one of his solos. People were going out of their mind. And in the very front row, there was some agenty looking guy and his girlfriend. And the girlfriend was bored. Literally, everyone else is standing up and screaming, and she's sitting there just watching the show. And I'm 15 rows back. I see Stevie in the middle of his solo. He's looking around. Everyone's digging on it. His eyes go down. He sees this girl. He grimaces a little bit because, oh, my God, she's not digging me. He looks over to the bass player. He smiles. He walks to the edge of the stage right in front of her and then directs like a laser beam of blues mojo at her with her solo. Play it and play it and play it and play it. And finally she just jumps in the air and starts screaming. He smiles, turns to the bass player, and walks to the back of the stage. That is the power of the music when it's that good.
Wow.
And it's an amazing thing to experience live. I just love it. I can't get enough of it. And I'm looking forward to heading to the big blues bender in Las Vegas. And while we're in Las Vegas, as you were saying at the top of the show, it is a world-class culinary city now. And there's one man who keeps tabs on everything. He's the publisher of Food and Beverage magazine, also the creator of the Food and Beverage Podcast Network, on which we're on. It's Michael Politz. Michael, welcome to A Fork on the Road.
Well, I guess that's why they call it the news.
Nice.
So,
Thank
Michael,
you.
people are going to come to Vegas to hear you sing. Clearly.
Clearly.
What else?
Clearly.
What else is there to do in Vegas during this period? This is the weekend after Labor Day. Is it still 200 degrees every day?
Oh my gosh, that's all I can say. It is so hot that I don't even want to go out and take meetings. Like me, not want to make. I don't even want to make money. Can you imagine how hot it is?
Oh my God.
I can't do it.
That's so hot.
I know. It's so hot. Michael Politz doesn't want to go out and make money. I mean,
Wow,
it,
there's
no,
a t-shirt.
come on.
That's
The
funny.
pools are packed. The restaurants at night are packed. You know, it may be a little bit too hot to even eat. You know.
Thank
I'm
you very
having a feeling
much.
that- well, I'm not saying for you, Jennifer. What I'm saying. Oh, hi, Jennifer. Is that you? I only heard Mark. Is that
Hello,
you?
my darling.
So I'm thinking a little froyo, Mark. A little froyo, Jen.
Sure.
I'm feeling a Midori sour coming on.
Oh, would have to be a frappuccino.
Hey,
Right?
listen.
It would have to. Yes.
Michael Politz is here. He's the publisher of Food and Beverage Magazine. He is the founder of the Food and Beverage Podcast Network, and he is practically single-handedly covering the entirety of the hospitality industry, from the B2B side of the back of the house to the joyful front of the house side. He is our go-to guru when we want to know what's happening in the beautiful city of Las Vegas. In the 702, nobody knows more about what's going on both in front of the house and behind the scenes, and he is here to tell us what is going on in Las Vegas from a party standpoint, from a music standpoint, from a hospitality food standpoint. But we've got to put all that aside because you just concluded one of the most prestigious events in the country in the way of spirits. You just concluded the Proof Awards, and we haven't talked to you since they happened, so welcome back. And
that's
please tell us how did the Proof Awards go?
Mark, are you still there? I just fell asleep for a minute. What I'm saying is, people, where were we? Oh, the Proof Awards.
Proof
Delicious. The Proof Awards was delicious. We had over 500 entries of spirits from all over the world, right?
That's cool.
Now, here's the fun part. You ready for the fun part?
Yes.
There were some 100-point winners, right? Now, Jennifer, your friend and mine, Benedict Hardy, was a 100-point winner.
Yeah, didn't
Unbelievable, right?
In all fairness, didn't I tell you that is some of the best stuff on the planet? The legendary cognac is one of the finest sips anywhere on the planet at any price. You could spend more money, but why would you? Because nothing is more delicious. 100 points. That should be on the cover of the magazine.
Well, I'm glad you're picking my editorial for the magazine, but here's what I'm thinking. Mark,
Pitch me.
I love her gumption. Gumption.
She makes a delicious gumption.
She does.
I make a Creole
Little
gumption.
roux. Yeah, Creole gumption. It's delish.
So I'm going to call Jeremiah Tower. We're going to put your Creole against his. So it was amazing. We've got a lot of 100-pointers, a lot of double golders, right? And then, which was neat because what we did was we had everybody judge, and then at the end we put everything out on the tables of where they got judged: gold, double gold, silver, right? We had all the judges at that point do a sweepstakes, right? It was like I felt like. Jennifer, you're too young, but Mark, you'll remember. I felt like Monty Hall. Okay,
Let's make a deal.
right? I was like,
you know what's so funny?
This...
I keep paper clips and hard-boiled eggs in my purse just in case I bump into him.
Good sign.
You know, Carol Merrill was my father's third wife.
Seriously?
Carol Merrill.
Let's go on. Listen, we have to take a very quick break. When we come back, more. This is AM 1030, The Voice. Around the Table, live from the City of Gastronomy. We'll be back with more right after this.
Welcome back to Fork on the Road. I'm Mark DiCarlo. She is Jennifer English. On the line with us is the publisher of Food and Beverage Magazine, the man who knows everything worth knowing.
And everyone worth knowing.
Exactly, and where all the bodies are buried. It's Michael Politz. Michael, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a little energy, Mark, when you say my name. Say my name.
Listen, Michael Politz, one of the things that I've always, you're a dear friend and you've been lovely to me in my lifetime, but one of the things that's always been impressive to me is you epitomize this friend in the business. You have lots of friends in the business, and you have that old-fashioned, old world. Here, let me hook you up with the people that I know and respect, because all my friends, when they get together, they all dig each other, and we all like similar enough things of similar quality and ease.
Jennifer.
Yes.
I just did that today. One of my buddies has a band. Maybe, Mark, you've heard of it. It's called Third Eye Blind.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, no one dropped. I have never talked to you this long without you saying the words, my friend Mike Tyson. So, but continue.
And I said, Stephen, right? Stephen Jenkins, Third Eye Blind. Stephen says, Michael, I'm going to be playing Austin City Limits. And I said, he has a new tequila called Summer God. It's a Blanco. It's beautiful. It's delicious. Jennifer, you would love it. I said, Stephen, if you're playing in Austin, let me get you carried by the biggest retailer in Texas. That's all. That was my pitch for myself.
See, that's the friend in the business. I want you to. There's this idea about Las Vegas being kind of an insider's town and needing to be a whale, a big spender, a big gambler. You have to have a concierge. What's the reality of Las Vegas today, Michael? If somebody comes in from out of town and they want to have the best experience possible, where do you suggest they look or connect to be given that sort of insider's track? Does it matter anymore? Do you have to have an insider's pull? Do you have to have a friend in the business to enjoy Las Vegas?
You know, Vegas used to be a lot more like that, right? Now it became all about the money, right? They're charging you for parking. They're charging you for this. There's room, the resort fees, right? So in a way, that got rid of all these. Like, for example, Mike Tyson and I will happen to go to dinner, Mark. Can you believe that? And I'll park, of course, in the valet, where I always do park. And, we used to say, hey, buddy, thanks, take my car, I'm out of here, we're going to dinner. Now they're like, oh, sir, you realize there's a charge for that, right? So what happens is the valet, they charge you $25 at the hotel to go in to have a $300 dinner, right? Of course, if I'm with one of my celebrity friends, we try to get that comped. Mark, shall I say some names?
Please, drop six. Drop six names in a row without even batting an eyelash. Ready? Go.
Go. Mark McGrath, Mike Tyson.
1, 2.
Zach Bagans, Jeremy Piven.
Four.
Oh.
What about Lovitz? What about Lovitz?
John Lovitz, Dana Carvey, Rob Schneider. Shall I continue? Pick a genre, Mark. Pick a genre.
Wait. You know Bob Schneider, the musician?
I know the better one. Rob Schneider from the Adam Sandler movies. The movie star.
Genius. Oh, okay.
Anyway, back to her question. So, Jennifer, the reality is all those people that worked on tips, and that's how they worked, right, are obsolete now because you're spending money because the hotels are like, that's my money. I want it. So you could just call and get a reservation now. Now, maybe there's someone who can get you a better table, but the truth is then you got to tip again when you get there, right? You can go, I want the most perfect table you have.
You sound like Lovitz when you say that. That's funny.
Well, what makes a perfect table? Unless you're sitting next to the bathroom or the kitchen, what difference does it make?
Oh, my God, it makes all the difference. Michael, where are we going to take him on this one?
I agree with Mark. It doesn't. The best table has the best server. That's what I say.
Thank you for answering that's what I was going to say. You don't want to be in a dud section. You want to be with the pro on the floor who knows how to make everybody at your table feel not only welcome, but like a VIP. And you could be in a diner. But here's the thing, Michael, is the notion of being a regular lost in Las Vegas because there's just such a flow of people and you don't have regulars anymore?
Yeah,
I mean, you live there.
It used to be, yes, it used to be amazing. Everybody was amazing. Everyone took care of their own because they knew their own was going to bring people in, right? Now it's, oh, what's your Instagram number? Which is funny because Instagram is for kids, right? Like all my kids are all diddling all over Instagram. How many of them are rolling into Vegas? None. So the people that are running this thing they're not thinking clearly. There's like a cloud of where we're doing, what we're doing in the wrong direction. The cool factor is not bringing in high-end, like these Instagrams are like the food god, my friend Jonathan Chevin, right? He's got like 5 million Instagram.
This I still don't
followers.
understand. Politz, you're going to have to explain that one to me someday.
I don't even know how to explain it, but I can tell you I don't think he drives restaurant into Vegas because most of these people aren't even 21. Now, maybe my other friend, someone like Amber Rose with 20 million, eight, she could drive traffic. But you see what I'm saying? So they're not driving.
She could drive me home any day. What?
Without the Lincoln? If you say without the Lincoln, Mark, I'm going to...
She's an excellent driver.
She's a very good driver. We're talking with Michael Politz, who is the publisher of Food and Beverage Magazine. He bases in Las Vegas, where he has had a front row seat to the transformation of Las Vegas from a buffet town to a gourmet town. In addition, he's the founder of the Food and Beverage Podcast Network, on which this very broadcast can be found. What I want to understand, when we send people to a contemporary Las Vegas, what does modern Las Vegas feel like and taste like? We're talking about some really technical stuff about how you maneuver around, but give me some of the highlights. Make me want to come to Vegas, because now you're just telling me stuff that complicates it for me. Tell me what is fabulous about Las Vegas right now, Michael.
Are there
If you like a lot of... What?
Did I say Michael or Mark? I'm sorry.
I'm just curious if there's still whores there in Vegas.
Well, Rodney Dangerfield left, so I don't think so.
Not denigrate
Although
Rodney.
Harry Basil is still here, so Harry he speaks of that like that. That's true. Yeah. No, Vegas is Vegas, right? You're always going to have what people want. You're always going to have the great shows that you can come and see, and you're going to have great meals. Now, I don't know that they're abundantly great. I think you can have great meals anywhere, right? But there's a lot of lights and a lot of energy and a lot of fun. And those lights, energy, and fun bring people here.
How can just a regular guy come to Vegas for a weekend, or gal, and roll up like a big roller without spending a lot of money? Is it possible anymore, or no?
Well, you got to be super good looking to do that.
Right. Okay.
You're not saying that facetiously.
No, because then everyone will give you, because they want to bring you in their clubs. Like, here, have a free table, have a free this, have a free that. Anybody hot?
Because you're gorgeous.
It's ridiculous. You know what? It reminds me of a friend of mine. About 20 years ago, he used to be super hot, had a television show. Actually, it was on Fox, believe it or not. He was the host of a game show called Stud. If I could just remember his name. Could it have been Mark DiCarlo?
11!
He was a stud. He is a stud.
So you kind of do need a lot of money, right? Because, Jennifer, remember the days that we were running and doing the food tastings and Barbara Fairchild and the Batterberries and all these, like, high-end foodie,
when Robin was still alive, right? When Robin Leach was...
Robin Leach, yes. And from that point on, they changed. We were building the culinary scene, right? Bobby came, Mario came, Wolfgang was always here. He's the Godfather, right? Bobby, Mario, and Wolfgang. Add 3 more to that, Mark. And then,
but then things change. And A, we don't eat like that anymore. B, you bring in guys who are like the world famous Ducasse and Bocuse and Joel Robuchon. But go one step further and just say, we don't eat like that anymore.
What about Guy
Savoy?
So they have those restaurants. So the high rollers that spend the big money, they have some place to send them. Because if you're coming to a place and you're spending a lot of money, you better damn well get a fancy meal, right? And the king of fancy meals, Jean-Georges, has even figured out that you need to sell hamburgers.
Right.
How about that?
But Michael, one of the things that's unusual to me is all around the rest of the country. It's certainly true here where I am in Arizona at the moment, less so in Vancouver, but more or less the same everywhere you look. what you realize is people say, I just don't eat like that anymore. I don't need the fancy white tablecloth. What I want is everything to be on the plate. I want the service to be lovely. I need it to be warm and convivial, but I really need everything to be delicious. And that the nature of fine dining has changed so substantially. Has it changed in Las Vegas as well? Has fine dining been redefined to be that lack of a tablecloth and crystal chandelier? Or is it because it's
Maybe.
Vegas?
No, I think because it's Vegas, they expect a little higher end. You don't have all these high end restaurants in a lot of cities, right? So they're able to get people in and fill them up. And again, a lot of the hotels are sending their clients there, so they're the ones paying for it, right? The casinos are paying for it. I mean, you still have like Jose who does his tasting menus, and now they're opening some more like omakase tasting menus. But if you look, I would think that less traditional high-end, like steakhouses, like the real true Vegas old school Golden Bowl steak.
Or Oscars.
Oscars is a new place trying to be the old place, right? But it's cool. Like, that's fun. But, then you're going to get Crab Imperial. Like, you're going to get the old school stuff that's really fun.
Veal Oscar.
You're going to get a good... Yeah, you're going to get some good portions of it. I mean, my favorite restaurant is a restaurant that I can go into in any city, and I get the same meal, and it's the same quality, and the people are the same, and it's enjoyable, right? Like, that's why I pick my favorite restaurants.
In and out.
It's not these it's in and out. Yeah, it's not these one-off places, right? Like I love the Palm. I used to love Morton's. But then they start becoming more corporate. Things change. It's interesting. And now you're going to try to find places that used to be food trucks are now restaurants, and those are what's trendy.
Yeah. And then you get places like Andiron Steak, which really is superb, and it's fine dining, and it's like a contemporary modern fine dining. How are people reimagining the comfort of fine dining? And is there a continuing elevation of the food itself? Are the chefs from the 50 and 100 best restaurants in the world still being brought to Las Vegas? Is Noma coming? Is David Chang? I know David Chang's already there. But who are the other chefs who are coming to Vegas still? Who are the big names that are those Michelin 3 stars?
Here's the thing, Jennifer. They're not coming to Vegas. Their names are coming to Vegas.
Ooh.
But they're not coming to Vegas, right? Am I wrong or am I right? Their names are Roy Choi. Oh, let's go get Korean barbecue at Roy's. Like, I know Roy. I never see him there. Where is he? Where are you, Roy? Oh, they use your sauce.
But it's a secret sauce. Michael Politz, you are, as always, irrepressible and a mensch. I love you. Thank you for being here with us. Mark DiCarlo, take it away.
Michael Politz, thank you. AJ Gross from the Big Blues Bender in Las Vegas, thank you. Las Vegas, thank you for making it a great place. You've been listening to Jennifer English and Mark DiCarlo on A Fork in the Road. We'll see you next week.
And do me a favor, when you get home, hug your kids and count your blessings. See you tomorrow. It's the Pizza and Beer Show, live from Tucson Foodie headquarters. Up next, John C. Scott, the Dean of Broadcasting here in Southern Arizona.